Hi there, I'm Dark Shades and I'm broadcasting out the UK into your homes, into your hearts hopefully. And if you do like my channel, please, or even if you like this video, please click on the thumbs up. If you don't think it's done you much good or it didn't meet your expectations, you can put the thumbs down. If you want to see more of me, you can click on the bell icon to subscribe and you can leave a comment if it kind of moves you to do so. Now, I wanted to talk about loving me is easy because I'm beautiful. Now, that can sound very vain. You could be saying, bloody hell, who the hell does she think she is? Who told her she's beautiful? Ugly this, ugly that. You know what I mean? And we do become like that. You know, in a society where praising yourself is seen as arrogant, especially in the UK, it's extremely difficult to love yourself in a way you need to be loved. And so this video will hopefully help you to love yourself without feeling like an idiot. You know, some of the videos will say I love you in the mirror. I love you in the mirror. And you can feel really foolish when you do that. I mean, I have a daughter and she's always saying, I'm so beautiful. I can't believe how beautiful I am. And me and my other daughter will look at her and we'll raise our eyebrows as if to say, bloody hell, what planet are you on? But, you know, it's what she does. It's what she says. And she looks in the mirror and she feels beautiful. And that is what it's about. It's not about contriving responses to who you think you are. It's about genuinely feeling that you're beautiful. Now, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Beauty is not always about physical beauty. It can be about you just being a lovely person to be around, being considerate, helpful, warm, tender. You know, all of those can make somebody feel beautiful. Sometimes somebody will say, you're so special. That can make you feel beautiful. The reasons why you're special could be that you go out of your way to help. You're supportive. You're charitable. You're hospitable. There's lots of ways that you can genuinely believe that you are beautiful. And despite what our parents told us, despite how we grew up, I mean, as a lot of you know, I had a very challenging upbringing. I was criticized. I was not nurtured. And I didn't have any of the stability it takes for somebody to grow up loving themselves. But over the years, with practice, doing these videos, I've learned to genuinely appreciate myself and love myself. I am not so harsh on myself. I am not so self-critical. And that is important. So many of us, we look in the mirror and we see our flaws. We are so critical. My eyebrows are too bushy. My eyebrows are too thin. My hair is too straight. My hair is too curly. My hair is too short. I wish it was longer. I'm too fat. I'm too skinny. I wish I was taller. I wish I was shorter. You know, I wish I was darker. I wish I was lighter. We're constantly criticizing ourselves. And why do we do that? Who are we comparing ourselves to? It's Minnie Riperton, when she sang, loving you is easy because you're beautiful. She sang that to the person who she loved. And the person we need to love is ourselves. So when we say, I love myself because I'm beautiful, it has to be for those qualities you would like to see in someone else. For you to love someone, what would that person need to be like? For me, they need to be considerate, they need to be tender, they need to be caring, they need to be warm, they need to be make me laugh, things like that. those will make me think that person is beautiful. The way they look at me, the way they hold me, the way they touch me, the way they make love to me. That is what will make me say that they are beautiful. It's not a physical thing. And a lot of people, they spend time in the gym, they're doing their abs, they're trying to make themselves all toned up, they're putting cellulite in their lips or cellulite in their faces, and Botox here and Botox there, and dyeing their hair and buying new teeth and goodness knows what. And yet, when someone loves you and sees that you're beautiful, it's got nothing to do with the exterior. That's the irony. People spend thousands trying to create a perception of beauty, a beauty that they believe is beauty, but is not necessarily beautiful for other people. And it's the same people they want to attract to themselves. They want people to see them as beautiful, but they've created their own sense of beauty, which is not necessarily what somebody else, it's not somebody else's vision of beauty. So they're kind of defeating the object. And so you have to ask yourself, like I said before, what are you looking for in someone else? What makes you love someone else? And how do you adopt those traits within yourself? Because it's no point looking for those kind of traits in someone else if you don't have them yourself. You need to have the traits that you're looking for that will make you love someone. You need to have them in yourself. So, what else have I got here? It can make you feel uneasy when you say you're beautiful. I mean, like I said with my daughter, when she goes, "Oh, I can't believe it. You're so beautiful." And she means it. She means it. And, I think to myself, oh, she's got so much self-esteem, And, oh, I can't believe I'm so beautiful. Am I that beautiful? And maybe she is talking about physical beauty. Maybe she is, but whatever it is, it makes her feel good. It makes her love herself. It makes her going out there, when we used to be able to go out there, and feel that she looks the part. And then sometimes it might take a third party to acknowledge and endorse that she is beautiful, but it's not necessary. It's not necessarily so. So it's time to start treating yourself as you would someone you love. Now, when I love someone, I love to pamper them. I love to buy them things. I like to cook for them. I like to treat them to a meal, treat them to a show. I just like to spoil them. That's when I love somebody. And so in loving myself, that is what I do. I don't need to have company. I can go and treat myself to a meal. I go to the Turkish spa and I have a spa. That's my pampering. And, I buy myself what I need. I kind of, anything that I need, I try to satisfy my needs as much as possible. Not all my wants, but my needs. So that is what I would do for someone else. I'm not going to do for somebody else what I wouldn't do for myself. What I mean is that I'm not going to go out of my way and put myself in debt or do something ridiculous like some people say. I loved him. That's why I gave him that loan and he never gave it back. I loved him. That's why I lent him my car and he smashed it. I loved him. That's why I gave him my credit card. No, not stupid love. That is not loving someone. That is either being infatuated with somebody or whatever it is. But that's not loving someone. When you love somebody, there are certain boundaries that you put in place. When you love yourself, there's boundaries that you put in place to protect yourself, to protect your heart. And I'm not talking about not allowing yourself to be vulnerable and not allowing yourself to be loved and hurt and risk being hurt in a loving way. But what I'm talking about is you're not going to do anything that is going to disadvantage you. Lending someone your car is going to disadvantage you if something happens to that car. And that's how you have to think. You can't think, oh, I love him, so I'm going to let him drive my car. Sometimes you know he hasn't got a license or he's got a provisional license. Sometimes you know he's had a drink, and then when he has a drink, he's driving your car. Sometimes when you watch them drive, when you're sitting with them, you notice they speed. So does that mean you don't mind getting tickets? If he gets tickets, suppose he gets stopped by the police. You have to think about yourself first. And so when you're thinking about, oh, am I going to lend him my car? You have to think, what are the repercussions? What is he like when he's driving his car? Has he got a car? If he hasn't got a car, then I would think doubly twice before I lend him mine. Why doesn't he rent a car? Is there anybody else he can lend a car from? Are you covered? Does your insurance cover a third party driving, or somebody else driving your car? You have to think when you're lending money. Do you have that money to spare? Yes, you love him, but suppose he doesn't pay it back. How does that leave you? Does that leave you short? Does that leave you can't paying your bills because you loved him and you trusted him and you wanted to give him some money and you wanted to help him out? By helping him out, you're disadvantaging yourself. You are not loving yourself when you do that. You've got to put yourself first. So that when you lend money, it's extra money. So God forbid he doesn't pay back. You're not going to think, oh my God, I need to pay my rent. I need to pay my mortgage. It was money I borrowed for someone else and I thought he would pay it back. And you start getting all stressed. And I know I'm talking about she, he, but it could work both ways. It's just very complicated to say she and then he. So just assume that I'm talking, it can go both ways. But yeah, so that is when you're talking about loving yourself, making sure that your needs are met. You're not going to be disadvantaged. It's okay to make a few sacrifices. It's okay to make a few compromises, but you still shouldn't be disadvantaged or hurt or worse off by helping someone else. You help those, number one, who help themselves. Are they trying to do something? Or are they just sitting there waiting for someone to come along and give them a leg up? What are they doing? What are they doing to improve their situation? You get some people, they're not working, they're not looking for work, and then they'll sit there and say, oh, can you lend me some money? Just because you're working. It's almost like they think they have a right, just because you're working, that you owe them. Because you're in a better position, you can help them out. You have to be very, very careful, because when in loving yourself, you'll recognize people who don't love you. You'll recognize people who want to use you. You'll recognize people who want to exploit or take advantage of you. And if you're that kind of person who's overly kind and overly helpful and you're a rescuer, you can fall into the trap where you end up worse off by helping someone else. And then you're going to have the victim mentality that says, oh, why do I always get hurt? Why do they always spin me a yarn? Why do they always take advantage of me? Because you have allowed them to. You have to love yourself. You look after yourself first. You make sure everything is in place before you can help someone else. Don't help somebody with what you ain't got. It doesn't make sense. Okay? And don't go co-signing. That's another thing. You get a lot of people, they ain't got squat. They've got bad credit. They've got some kind of, some kind of criminal convictions. They've got debt. And then they'll say to you, oh, I haven't got good credit. I wonder if you could co-sign something for me. I wonder if you could take out a loan for me. Or could you take out a credit card for me? Red flag, honey. Don't do it. Make sure whoever you're with is on the same level as you, and you're both treating each other with love, caring, nurturance. A loving relationship, especially if you love yourself, It's a reciprocal relationship. It's not one where one person is doing everything and the other person is doing nothing. It needs to be reciprocal. And if it's not reciprocal, there's something dodgy going on. You have to question yourself and question your situation. Okay, so you have to love yourself the way you are. And like I said, that means be satisfied with how you look. Look at Michael Jackson. He just couldn't come to terms with what was his version of a beautiful person. There was a point where he was beautiful, but he couldn't see it. And that's what happens when people are doing all this Botox and all this facial surgery and stuff. They cannot see when they're enough, when it's just enough. And they go overboard and they end up with plump lips, or they end up with a dodgy nose, like what happened to Michael Jackson, because they cannot see. They're just dissatisfied. So dissatisfied with who they are. So much self-hatred that they cannot see the beauty that everybody else sees. Before Michael Jackson had any surgery, any whatever he did, he was beautiful. But that was in our eyes. That's why it's so important to love yourself. You have to see yourself as beautiful. You can't be picking everything wrong with you. You can't be looking at a spot here or a dark mark here, or the fact that you're a bit overweight, or the fact that your hair is this way. You can't keep doing that. You'll always find flaws. No one is perfect. Who's perfect? And even those who we perceive as perfect don't think they're perfect. They're doing all sorts of stuff to make themselves even more perfect in their eyes. So loving yourself is so important. Loving yourself the way you are. Nothing wrong with a few enhancements, a little bit of blush, a little bit of eyeliner. Even like I wear wigs and stuff. It's not because I hate myself or I hate my hair. It's because I like to be creative. I like to change my image. I like to look at myself sometimes and think, oh, that looks good. That looks interesting. I like to play around. Sometimes I just come to you as I am. I don't doll myself up. I don't put on the makeup. I look as tired as crap. I look like crap sometimes. Do I care? No, because I have to be satisfied sometimes with who I am and how I really am, without the little foundation, without all the lights to kind of make me look better than what I am. And it's about being satisfied that you're okay, you're good enough. If I had to be beautiful every time I did a video, I'd never have any done. So there are days when I can't be, well, I shouldn't say I can't be bothered, but yes, I guess it is. I can't be bothered to make an effort after I've taken off my makeup, because sometimes I'm going to bed. And then I'll have this surge of inspiration and I think, oh, bloody hell, I really want to do this video. And I just get out of my bed and I just come and do the video, looking like crap. But it's about feeling comfortable with yourself. And it's not about even acceptance. Even if somebody wrote to me and said, oh, you look like crap tonight, it wouldn't bother me. You know what I mean? I've had people say, especially when I take my wig off and I do videos with my natural hair, oh, you look like a man. Are you sure you're not a man? I'm just thinking they're haters. They know I'm not a bloody man. But anyway, so there's Billy Joel. What does he say? Don't go changing to try and please me. You never let me down before. Singing ain't my forte. I've just proved that to you. But my point is that you don't need to change anything. I love you just the way you are. And I have to love myself just the way I am. And that's what you need to do. So you don't need to buy anything. You don't need to add anything. You don't need to snip things off. You don't need to lose weight, put on weight, change the colour of your hair, change the colour of your eyes, pump up your lips, your tits, your bum. The relationship is with you. You can't leave yourself and run off. You can't abandon yourself. If you don't look good on one day, You don't wake up and think, oh, I can't stand you, I'm leaving. You're stuck with yourself, so you need to love yourself. People, if you leave your love to someone else, if you're waiting for somebody else to love you, then you're putting the power in their hands, because they can love you 1 minute and then they can stop loving you and they take that love with them. And you're left there reaching out, oh, he's left me, no, he don't love me, no one loves me, that kind of stuff. You have to be confident, loving yourself, so that when they leave you, you're still whole. It's just like, okay, so it didn't work. Tough. Might hurt a little bit. You might, sniffle a little bit, but it's not going to change who you are. It's not going to take anything away from who you are. That's the most important thing. But if you leave it for other people to love you, that's why they say you can't love anyone until you love yourself. And you find a lot of people who don't love themselves and they're looking for people to love them. And then they get devastated when that person takes the love that you thought you had and goes off with it. But they've chipped because they realise you don't love yourself. You don't have any sense of self-worth. And they can take advantage of you. And so they chip. A man doesn't want anyone who they can take advantage of. A man doesn't want a soft touch. They'll behave as though they do, just to use you and get what they want. Ask you for money, and if they think you love them, you do this. Because if you don't love yourself, you don't have any limitations, you don't have any boundaries. So men will love that, and they'll just abuse you. So you've got to love yourself first. Once you love yourself first, anybody who's coming into your life, they've got to meet your standards. And they've got to respect you. And, and the funny thing is when you love yourself, they love you. It's almost like it's automatic. Love attracts love. So, I'm the best thing that ever happened to me. Do you know that song? So, I'm my experiences, my behavior, my attitude, my spirit, my belief system, my soul, and my mind. That's who I am. The best thing that ever happened to me was all of that. Everything I have been through has made me who I am. And that is how you have to think. Don't think of bad experiences as destroying you or taking something away from you. Think of them as building you up and helping you to evolve into the person you are today, which is a beautiful person. And if you're watching this video, you're on that kind of realm where you're looking to be even more beautiful, because you're looking to self-develop and become a better person, to become a safer person to be with. And we all need to feel safe with ourselves. No point sitting in a room by yourself and feeling uncomfortable. Some people can't spend time by themselves. They need to have somebody around. Some people would die without a television. Somebody would die without a phone. Well, I don't mean literally die, but they'd be very, very agitated. But you have to feel comfortable by yourself, with yourself. And when you feel comfortable with yourself, by yourself, I tell you something, it feels so good. It does. I do it all the time. People think I'm a nutter. Aren't you lonely? Don't you get lonely by yourself? No, I don't. I really don't. So, what else have I got here? Yeah, so I put down things, how, you treat somebody you love. You might set them a bath, buy nice things, treat them and stuff, but I've already said that, so I'm not going to repeat it. Everything you do for someone else you love, it's important that you feel you deserve the same treatment. Not necessarily from somebody else. It's not like you're going to buy somebody something or set somebody's bath or cook something for them because you want them to do it back to you. But you have to be in a position to say, yes, I'm worthy. I'll do that for him, but I do it for myself as well. I'm not going to buy a £10 piece of steak for my partner and then buy myself corned beef. No. Whatever he gets, I get. And I might even get a bigger piece. So self-reflection is good, but do not be overcritical or chastise yourself. Okay. Criticism is not good at all. It's not good. It just tears you down. And yeah. And why do people criticize? And how does it affect us? And depending on our upbringing, criticism will either be water off a duck's back, and we'll see it as feedback and learn from it, or it can actually destroy you if you've been raised with low self-esteem. So you have to make sure that you don't criticize yourself, because when you criticize yourself, that goes into your subconscious. And if you constantly criticize yourself, you start believing what you're criticizing yourself about, and that is not good. So start finding the good. You're not perfect. You can observe your imperfections, but when you do something good, or when you're pleased with something, even if it's the way you've put something on a plate, say, bloody hell, that looks really nice. If you buy a dress and you put it on and you think, bloody hell, you look really good in that dress, it really suits you. You can say that to yourself. When you've just done your nails. Oh, your nails look beautiful. I really love my nails. You know what I mean? You look for the things that you like about yourself, and you acknowledge it. And you acknowledge it out loud. Okay, not if you're in the street, because people might think you're bloody crazy. But, in places where you feel comfortable. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging what you're good at and praising yourself. It's important. Ask for what you need and make sure you get it. Analyze uncomfortable situations and why they make you feel uncomfortable. Is it something from your past? Is it the way somebody said something to you? But just get a grip, Don't jump on it and get all paranoid. Just silently ask yourself, why does that make me feel uncomfortable? What is it about the person's tone or what they've said that makes me feel uncomfortable? Do I feel as though they're judging me? Is it because I feel they're criticizing me? Is it because whatever you think it is, address it so you can release it and let it go and leave your heart free to just love and feel joy and a sense of fulfillment. Put yourself in positions of joy. Watch a lot of comedies. Laugh. Laughter is so good for the soul. Comfort. Don't be cold in your house, even if you haven't got the heating on. Find a whole heap of clothes. Wrap yourself up. Keep warm. Feel comfortable. Some people, they haven't got electricity. They can't afford it. You've got lots of clothes in your cupboards. Coats, just put them on. Feel warm. Feel comfortable. Try to make yourself as comfortable as possible in the situation you're in, because that's about making you feel loved. When you protect yourself, when you make yourself comfortable as possible in your circumstances. So you protect yourself from harmful situations, from abuse and insults. There's so many hurtful people out there. Nasty people with hang-ups and gripes and all kinds of problems that they have. You can't be responsible for how they feel, but you can be responsible when it comes to you, and you can block them, ignore them, silence them in whichever way you need to do. Distance yourself from negative people, unfair criticism, misjudgment, and people who are inconsiderate. There are so many inconsiderate people around. I'm not saying some people, they may not know they're being inconsiderate. That's different. But you find some people who are inconsiderate, obviously inconsiderate. I mean, to me, well, I'm going to go there. So, include calming influences in your daily routine, like walks, music, people who are calm. Games, meditation, prayer, reading, sleep well and eat well. Very calming influences. You know, you don't have to be talking all the time. You don't have to have noise all the time. You don't have to have the TV on. You don't have to have the radio on. There doesn't have to be anything going on. You're alive. Embrace the moment. Embrace the silence. We don't often get silence, you know. And I know I say that, and sometimes when I have moments to myself, I'll be listening to YouTube videos, you know, self-development and those kind of things. And I kind of think to myself, you should really turn it off, Myrna, because you need some silence. Yes, it's good to learn, but let your brain breathe. Let your mind talk to you. Let your spirit talk to you. It can't talk to you when you've got information going in. It needs space. It needs silence. And that's a part of loving yourself. And we're all learning. It's not something you do overnight. It takes time. I don't want to go on too long with this. So yeah, what I did say is, what is it about a person that makes you love them and emulate those traits? What would you say to what would you love to hear someone say about you? But I'd like to think somebody would say that I'm warm, I'm attentive, I'm considerate, I'm caring, I'm supportive, I'm reliable, and I'm trustworthy. That's what I'd like somebody to say about me. So I need to say those things to myself. Myrna, you are reliable, you are considerate, you are caring, you are trustworthy. And what traits would you expect to find in someone you love? And do you have them yourself? That's very important. Don't go looking for something in someone else that you don't have for yourself. Also, love needs to be unconditional. It's not about saying, oh, I'm going to do this for you if you do this for me. No. And you don't do that to yourself either. You love yourself unconditionally. You don't love yourself just because you look good and you've made an effort and you've put makeup on and you look good on a particular day. You love yourself even when you look like crap, even first thing in the morning. You love yourself same way, unconditionally. There's no manipulation. You're not manipulating yourself. You're not trying to convince yourself that you're this when you're not, because your brain picks up on inconsistencies. It picks up when you're not being authentic, and it comes out in your behavior, and then you're not a very nice person to be around. Nourish your soul with kindness. And that's all I've got to say. I hope you find it useful. Bye-bye.